So time now to head to a feature we'd like to do every Monday. Black Pound Day encourages everyone to spend money with local and online UK Black-owned businesses, replacing your usual purchases with services and products from these businesses. The day is also an opportunity to find out how everyone can support local Black businesses over the long term. Each week, the Upfront Show wants to feature one of Merseyside's very own Black-owned businesses. Recently, Jermaine chatted to Bow Street Soul Cafe owner Janine Hancock, Lark Lane's Bistro Noir owner Maria Julien, and tonight is a man who is hoping to appeal to Merseyside's sweet tooth. Andre Carrington is the owner of Desserts by Dre. I love that. Desserts by Dre, an online cakes and dessert store who describes themselves as fun, quirky, and fresh. Sounds like an advert. I'm so good at this. I should do voiceovers.
I'm originally from Barbados. I've been living in the UK for about 12 years now, but Liverpool's only been my home for the last 2 years. Always loved the cakes, was always wanting to get into it, but just never found the time, really. I guess current situation gave me some time to focus on achieving that dream that I've always had since I was a little boy, you know.
Who was it in your youth that was the one making the cakes?
I learned quite a bit from my father, which is quite common back in Barbados, where the guys are doing a lot of baking. My earliest memory was my grandmother, watching her when I was about 6 or 7 years old, baking, and it obviously take her a couple of hours because there wasn't any fancy equipment back then. Everything was by hand, so just watching her and just falling in love with like the smells and the process that it took just to get that fantastic cake out, you know.
What kind of cakes were you guys making there? Because I know here in the UK we've got our traditional type of tea cakes and things that people are more familiar with eating. Is it the same over in Barbados? Is there cakes you guys are more famous for or more traditionally eat?
We do what we call like a pudding cake, a plain cake, and it's literally like our take on a Victoria sponge. Mm-hmm. But we're more into, we actually got a massive American influence, so we do a lot of cheesecakes, a lot of chocolate cake, you know, that birthday cake with buttercream sort of thing.
The healthy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good stuff.
The quite healthy stuff, you know.
Yeah. I've always thought to myself, I could never do it because I just end up eating all of the cakes.
I like chocolate and I like chocolate cake and stuff like that, but I tend to not actually treat myself to my own cakes because I've been baking them for so long. It's kind of the last thing that I want to see after a day, 12 hours in the kitchen.
Tell us about your online business then, Dre. It's called Desserts by Dre. Why did you use that name?
A couple of years back, I went back home just for a holiday, and I've been posting pictures of stuff I was doing, and I decided to have like a little pop-up back home. Mm-hmm. And my brother, who's a graphic artist, he decided, oh, you know what, I'll just put together a little flyer that he can advertise. And we had the name Desserts by Dre, just because it had a little ring to it. Mm-hmm. So it started off literally as like a little joke. But then I just ran with it. It's got a nice ring to it. It's quite familiar. Obviously, the Desserts by Dre. It's quite catchy. You know, sometimes I even refer to myself as Desserts by Dre as an alter personality and alter ego as somebody completely different.
What kind of cakes then are you making?
When I started, I wanted to showcase my personality in my cakes, and I wanted to do something a little bit different to just cupcakes and brownies and stuff like that. So I tend to tap into my influence that I got visiting America when I was young, because I used to go there almost every summer. So it's quite like what I would say is like a gâteau. So it's in between a celebration cake and just a basic dessert you'd have. I'll tap into different fruits depending on the season, a few trends, you know, like 1 or 2 drip cakes here and there. But I really just bake what I would love to eat as a customer. I kind of step out to the realm a little bit, you know, and combine flavors that are a little bit strange that you don't see very often in the UK.
What kind of cakes are we talking about then, Dre, when you say that?
I do like baked cheesecakes. Not very common in the UK. So I do like a New York style baked cheesecake. I do like a lemon one, toffee waffles, strawberry meringue, galaxy, those type of things. I think my most popular cake is a banana bread with salted caramel frosting and a Nutella center. That's a recipe that I brought over from Barbados that my father used to use, and God knows where he got it from, but it's a very, very, very strong recipe, that cake.
What occasions are your cakes for?
So I do have people who buy them for birthdays, and like I offer cake toppers for them and stuff like that. And then I have actually a bit of a customer base who just buy a gâteau and they share it on a Sunday after the roast, or I fancy a slice of cake, but they'll just buy an entire cake and share with the family. I was doing something during lockdown called a treat box, where you get 5 desserts for £15 delivered to your house, no contact. I had people who literally had 20 weeks worth of treat boxes delivered to their house every week.
I hope they didn't eat them all in one night.
Hopefully not, they're still coming back, so they must still be okay,
Oh, wow. So, Dre, obviously now this segment of the show is where we talk about, where we try to highlight black business owners, of course, with the main focus of Black Pound Day. Had you heard of this day before? Is this something you were familiar with?
Yeah, I've heard of the day before. There was a lot of buzz around it. Got a notable mention from Independent Liverpool and some other big influencers around Liverpool promoting the business, which they still have continued doing, which I think is fantastic.
Being a person of colour, how do you feel about days like this?
I think it's quite important for businesses that are growing, that aren't established in the community, to have that influence with Black Pound Day. There's a lot of conscious and ethical shoppers now who will pay attention to it and who will not normally go and support a black-owned business that will now. And it gives them an opportunity to see new talent.
Society sees us in certain ways, expects things from us in certain ways. How have these things kind of affected you being a business owner, or how have they even helped you now, as now you are a business owner?
Actually, I think it was to my benefit. I mean, usually when you see me, like, I'm a big old guy with a beard and an accent. So when you see me show up at your house with a box of little dainty cakes, you don't tie the two in together, And I've had amazing response where people are like, "Oh, we wouldn't picture you making the cakes," and it kind of writes a different narrative that you normally see. The people of Liverpool have been amazing support. Coming out and honestly, like, showing love. I guess I'm an adopted son of the city, and they really, really have rallied behind me and showed support. I think it was more important to be a good business with focus on having a good product, and then being a black person and showing the community, what we can do. And obviously the young youth, show them that there's opportunity to do all sorts, and you don't have to go down a certain path. There's nothing wrong with baking cakes. There's nothing wrong with being a chef, etc., etc. We can do anything that we put our minds to,
Dre, if people would like to find you, get some more information about your business, about yourself, where can they go for that?
Okay, well, you can follow me on Instagram, and that's at Desserts by Dre. On Facebook, it's at Desserts by Andre. And you could go to my website, www.dessertsbydre.co.uk. And any information that you like to get, you can get from there. Send us a message. I'm the one answering the messages as well, so you get direct contact with me. And I try to make every customer feel as special as the first and the last one.
Black Pound Day falls on the first Saturday of each month. If you know any black-owned businesses in Merseyside, drop myself or Jermaine an email, and you don't have to be a big chain or a chain business, and they can feature on a future show. Next, a track.